Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to my YAHAWAH who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this foreign captivity. This is Brother Kawakab coming at you with another lesson. Let me get Slakia. I should have had this ready, but Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And today's lesson is going to be about proper procedure, not fully, but for the most part, just a basic understanding of looking after your own child. All right. Now, the reason why I am making this lesson is because I watched this one video, which, you know, I watched this video over here, okay, which this chick was basically saying some stuff that I surprisingly, like, wholeheartedly agree with. And the reason why I am making this video on this is because she looks like an Edomite. I'll say she looks like an Edomite, and it's because she looks like an Edomite, and she is even pointing out the importance of parents, you know, actively looking out for or watching the things that they allow their kids to, you know, to play with and stuff like that. All right. And, you know, as a child, there were things where I could actually relate to in this grievance that she is talking about, because basically what she's I'm not going to play the video, but well, I might slack you, but basically what she's talking about is how when she was 12 years old, which is what she said, when she was 12 years old, she had bought this game called this game that is rated E for everyone. Because you know these ESRB ratings. I don't know if you know them. ESRB rating. I think it's in America, it's one thing, and then I think it's different for every country. Or I think North America has one, and I think it's by continent. I could be wrong about that, but anyway, in America there are these ESRB ratings. All right, it's C for early childhood. You know, I don't know the age groups, but there's E for everyone, meaning that it's like, okay, yeah, your kids can play it, it's fine, and like there's not going to be anything that a kid might get scared of, or it's something that a kid wouldn't be too or kid 9 and younger wouldn't be too, you know, messed up about, or is able to comprehend it and stuff like that. And then there's E10 and up, you know, maybe it's a little bit more on the mature side, but it's still something that, you know, kids can, a kid that's like 10 years old at minimum can enjoy and stuff like that. And then there's T for teens, as in like there's a little bit more adult themed to it. Okay, I guess an example of games, I want to say, you know, Pokemon is you need to be like, I guess 6, 7, 8 in order to just be able to play the game, maybe not fully enjoy it, because with Pokemon you need to have reading comprehension to enjoy it. Okay, so I'm not gonna go too much into it, but you get it. And then you have stuff like Final Fantasy, which is T for teens, because it has these more adult themes where there are people that die and stuff like this. So you basically get this. And then M for mature, which you should never allow your child to play, because it tends to has either blood, gore, some horror elements to it. And there's adults, and yeah, obviously it's just like it has like stuff like sex and stuff like that, and nudity and blood, gore, and all that stuff, like these exact precise adult themes to it. All right, so with that being said, let's go back to here. She was talking about this one game, which thankfully I never played it. Okay, she played this one game where it's I'm trying to find where there was a bunch of death scenes for this one.
If you hate constantly being sworn by
there's a bunch of these the game shows a bunch of death scenes for this kid, all right, and it as a kid, obviously there's a difference now, but as a kid, it's something that a kid would not be, very privy to actually watching. Like, this is not something that that should be for kids, but yet they said on the she said American ESRB rating, on the American ESRB rating, that this is E for everyone. Like, this is for just kids because there's no explicit, like, detailed blood on it, but they're showing this kid getting mauled and stuff like that. All right, and honestly, when I saw the video, I saw this video all the way through. I looked at the death scenes, and she literally goes through and shows a bunch of different death scenes, and in all honesty, I feel like that is kind of like traumatizing. Like, that's a little scary. Even with when I after I got older, when I was hearing about some interviews on some of my favorite kids shows, like one big kids show is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I used to love watching that as a kid, and one of the things that they were saying that they could not allow to have happen in the show was that none of the kids could be attacked by none of the kids could be attacked by the scythe. The scythe was not allowed to be used on anyone, and basically what they did was basically they never allowed the kids to get hit, but obviously if you've seen the show, the kids have like dodged it or dodged a scythe or stuff like that. So it was like they used it in like threatening ways, but it was never in any like graphic type of way. So they basically teetered on the lines with that show, but yet that show is still very beloved because there's nothing actually traumatic or anywhere where any of the kids actually got hurt. And surprisingly, all right, which is the reason why I'm doing it, is because it's because of that restriction. It's because of that restraint. It's because of that consideration that you have these different things that actually safeguard children, that I'm actually very grateful for in my childhood. And that's another thing where even for me, okay, one thing that I remember I always used to talk about is the whole alphabet stuff. With today, they are bringing drag queens into schools. All right, so when they do that, Saki, when they do that, it's like they're ruining and scaring, or not ruining, but they're not scaring Saki. Well, yes, maybe scaring, but they are basically tainting our children's minds and enforcing their stuff, their philosophies on another person's children with that, because they have these schools and they are taking these drag queens behind these parents' back to teach them about this type of stuff when no one asked for it. And most of the time, most parents don't even approve of that type of behavior. Most parents are usually conservatives, because liberals in general, they don't tend to want to have kids. They just tend to want to live. But at the same time, these same liberals will also become school teachers and teach conservative parents' children. All right. So with that being said, it goes to show that in this society, our Esau basically like makes the school the second parent that teaches the child how to think, the philosophies to think. And this is how there is a primary major division in a child and a parent's life, because in Babylon, because I did a video on this before, in Babylon the parents barely have time to really talk. Not only do they not have time, but they don't even talk to their children to actually properly teach their children. It was a so-called Middle Eastern woman or an Ishmaelite woman that had said that or what appeared to be an Ishmaelite woman that had said that when her husband, he barely has time to talk to his children. Okay, so she had pointed out that one of the things that Ishmaelite parents do is that they talk and they spend time talking to their children in order to better teach them, better help them gain their values as parents and instill it onto the child. Because when you have a relationship with your child, you want them to grow up properly. Maybe not exactly like you, depending on how you grew up. All right, but maybe better than you, where you, with the experience that you have, you're supposed to be like, okay, this is what you have to do. You don't have to, you do not need to make the same mistakes that I did. So I'm going to put you on the right path. I'm going to teach you what to do. I'm going to show you this, that, and that, X, Y, and Z, so that you can live properly. And the thing is that Esau, because of how his world is set up, his system is set up, it's completely against that. He's completely against wanting a child to grow up properly, as well as understanding things and being able to see the world through their parents' eyes, as well as be in union with their parents. They just want to rebel, and that's one of the biggest things that Esau does. Esau brings more division and basically ruins your relationship with your children. All right, so let me also get this. Sirach chapter 25 verse 7, there be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies. So the main thing here is a man that hath joy in his children. Okay, when you have joy, when you actually want to teach and talk to them and like spend time with your children, because it's you spending time with your children isn't just, oh yeah, let's go watch a movie, or let's go play video games. And even just playing video games, there's more that goes into that, which we have with this example, where if you are going to play video games, watch a movie with your kid, you want to make sure that your child, okay, well, let's say that they're just 10 years old, or let's just say 6, for example, for a younger age. If your child is 6, you don't want them to be learning or watching freaking Duke Nukem or some of these more explicit games, or be playing Grand Theft Auto in these terrible influences. All right, like that's not something that we should be doing. All right, we shouldn't be allowing our children to be corrupted by these things just because you want to be a lazy parent. That's why we have to be involved in our children's lives, albeit there are times when we aren't able to be as involved because of maybe you don't have a lot of time because you have so much work to do. You have to go to work so much, and then you just don't have time. So that's not even your fault. But at the same time, like, with the little time that you are able to spend with them, you try your best to maximize the time. All right, so slacky about that. But yeah, that's the thing. Like honestly, I kind of feel even though I'm not gonna lie, if I don't believe that it's a coin toss. I think that, like, I just want, for speaking as a man, I just feel like I could, or with the knowledge of the scriptures that I have now, I feel like I'm able to, but at the same time, it's like it is a blessing in disguise that I have not been made a father yet. But yet, I think there's an irony in it where the Lord doesn't make the people that are actually ready to be parents, but the people that aren't ready to be parents, they get stuck with the children, be it because there's a lesson to be learned. There's a way that the Lord is kind of like building people up to be better people. All right, so yeah, with that, and let's continue on. Okay, so The next thing is, yes, trauma. So we talked about teaching them properly, but I want to also bring up traumas because she said that she had played this game when she was 12 and she kept on trying to go farther and farther, but every time she saw a different death animation, which, because there's a lots of different death animations in this game, she just felt like, you know what, I'm just gonna stop playing it because I can't, because I'm too scared and whatnot. And the thing is, like, it's not even because she's a girl or anything, but it's like, or she was a girl or anything, but it's like this thing is potentially could potentially traumatize even boys and stuff like that, where it's not just one offshoot example of this game, but it's in other different games as well, where certain things could happen. All right, where like for example, with anime, if you can't just let your child watch just any anime. That's why they had stuff like Toonami and Adult Swim on Cartoon Network, where like there's a clearly differentiation in between like the age groups. Like Cartoon Network, that's for kids. Anyone can watch. Any kid can watch it. All right, or anyone if you want, whatever. And then there's Toonami. That's for the I think I want to say 10 and up, because it was Dragon Ball Z. Even though Dragon Ball Z has a bit more adult-ish themes, so I guess I'll say teens. Okay, and then there's the Adult Swim. That's just fully on raunchy, if need to be, actual hardcore stuff like Cowboy Bebop and these adult stuff where they put that stuff in it. Like these are the differences in like the age group stuff, which once again, like looking back on it, I'm able to better appreciate what they did. All right, because again, like if I had seen freaking all the stuff on Cartoon Network, all the stuff on Adult Swim, it's like they show a lot of different like crazy stuff. Like it's really just not for kids. And the thing is, the problem with that is that if you only let Esau or the rating systems and stuff like that dictate that, then as time goes on, if you're just trusting, I'll just trust Esau's rating system, they wouldn't let kids watch it. Well, lo and behold, look at this game. Okay, look at other stuff. I don't know another example of it, but I don't have another example. I'm just letting you know. Like there were instances where, like when I was a kid, my mother wouldn't let me watch certain stuff. She would always check out the stuff that I watch and do, and now I'm able to, as an adult, I'm able to better understand the reasoning behind that. But the irony of it is that outside of this one game, I don't really think that there was anything to actually be aware of, or to actually say like, okay, you know what, there's a need to be compared to now, which they have a lot more stuff. It's lucky they have a lot more stuff. Like regular show, I kind of feel like that was not that should not have been on Cartoon Network. I feel like that should have been for like something like for teens. I think that should have been for teens, but they put that and made that for kids. Like what is the rating on that? Is regular show for kids? Yeah, exactly. It is. This is, but it was on. But it was on Cartoon Network. Everyone, people acknowledge it as People acknowledge this as a quote unquote kid show. It was on it aired on times when it was where kids would be watching, but this is for older teenagers and young adults. And it was literally, I remember seeing a few episodes where it was definitely more geared towards, young adults. All right. I say young adults, maybe not even older teenagers, but young adults. Right. And, it's stuff like this that really, makes you think like, okay, well, look at the stuff now compared to back then. It wasn't as um as kid back then was more kid friendly compared to now. Compared to now, it's not as kid friendly. They're putting more and more of this type of weird stuff. And there was some let me get this actually, because I remember seeing this. I thought this was weird. If I had kids, I would not let them watch that. This shit is so fucking weird. Like, what the hell? They even have a question. They even asked this question, and I agree. I didn't even watch this. I saw a few snippets of it, and I thought that this shit was weird. I don't even remember what year was this. 2013. Okay, well I don't remember how old I was. Whatever. The point is that I thought, this shit is weird. I think if I was watching TV at this time, I thought you know what, I'm just gonna cut this shit off, because this is lame. I barely didn't even wanted to give this a chance, because this is weird. This is actually like, this is not good. But yeah, again, this goes to show that you have to, funnily enough, you have to watch these kid shows to see, are they okay for your kids to watch. All right, you need to say, okay, let me take time out of my day to watch this show with my kid, and then after you watch the show with your kid and whatnot, then this program, you can watch it, little Timmy and whatnot, or whatever. All right, this is the stuff that this is the stuff that I want you to watch. This is the stuff that I don't want you to watch. This is the thing, and that was what was in my thing, where there were certain shows like I was not allowed to watch. Like I was not allowed to watch SpongeBob, and I think that was the only thing. I think there was more, but I don't remember. The SpongeBob I was not allowed to watch, so I never saw that. All right, I kept on hearing about different references from kids at school, but I never saw SpongeBob. I saw like one thing with my mother. My mother, she set us through a SpongeBob movie, and we watched it together with her. And then she said, okay, well, this movie is fine, but I don't know. But she kind of like, I don't know. It was weird because she saw the movie with us, but I don't know. I don't think she ever let us watch the show. But regardless, you get the point of being involved and watching to see, is this okay programming for my child? Now, let me also continue on. So yeah, Proverbs 13 verse 24. He that spareth his rod hateth hateth his son, but he that loveth him chastises him betimes. So basically, the thing is here where we have to do our part in making sure that they are properly corrected and they're properly let known for what is the issue, what's the deal, like how do we correct and show them what the proper way, in the proper, what's the word, I'm blanking on the word, the proper thought process, if you want, or the proper philosophies in terms of each and every situation, in terms of like how to deal with stuff. So when your child goes off, then of course you're gonna correct them and say, hey, don't do this, do that instead. Or hey, when you're in trouble, when you have to go to two separate things, you weigh your options like this, that, and the third, and whatnot. Like these are the proper ways to to teach your child and to help them to have practical wisdom in terms of like properly applying stuff. And it really does work wonders, when for children, because if they actually are obedient, they listen, then whenever they have what's the word, whenever they're faced with these types of problems and they actually listen, they have an easier time dealing with said problems, because they don't have to go through it a first time on their own to suffer, but they just have the experience from their parents or whatever, in order for them to easily dismiss and easily get through said problem. All right, experience is a very good thing which we're supposed to be passing down on to our children. All right, and as children, be taking from our parents if they are a good parent. All right, they should be teaching you if they are a good parent. All right, teaching you properly, slocky, because some people teach their children wrong, or if not at all. All right. Proverbs 22 verse 15: foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive him far from him. Slakia. And foolishness, okay, it's in the child to do foolishness because they don't know any better. But when you correct them, you tell them what's wrong, what's right, what's wrong. When you actually discipline them, you instill discipline in them, and that's when foolishness will leave. All right, foolishness will leave, and they will do better. All right. I actually want to get some of my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything. Let me see. Oh yeah, Slocky, I wanted to point out with this chick, okay? So as you can see, she looks like an Edomite, and she has that fucking stupid ass odd colored hair. But the thing is, I believe like this is all the more reason. The fact, depending on the person it comes from, a message can be further solidified and be further pushed harder simply based off the person it's coming from. Because, like, for example, if the wicked is saying if an Edomite, okay, a full-fledged MAGA Edomite is saying, okay, you know what, I think Donald Trump is actually evil, then that's when you freaking know that Donald Trump is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, like you have stuff like this where you have even the devil is able to admit that the devil is being the devil. Okay, but yeah, when the devil is able to say that man is the devil, all right, then you know that man is fucking evil. All right, because you're even making the wicked to say like, oh my God, this man is actually evil. All right, you're making the devil have to reflect and reconsider his actions. Okay, so when you have this freaking liberal looking freaking Edomite bitch saying shit like this, saying like this shit is not for kids, this shit is not okay, then that's how you know that this shit is not okay. You have to actually look out for your kids. All right, now obviously I don't know how her political views, I don't know how she feels about children, but yes, obviously I do know she does care enough to say, okay, you need to actually, as parents, you need to actually monitor what your kids are doing. So yes, she's good in that aspect. Okay, good on her. But outside of that, I don't know anything else about her. But I will say again, it's this type of stuff that's like good on you. We are all in agreement, or everybody can genuinely admit, or well, maybe not everyone, but most people can admit that, yeah, you actually have to look out for the stuff of your kids, because there are these gentle parenting, I think that's what they're called, that would let their kids get traumatized just for the sake of letting them learn an unnecessary lesson. You can literally not, they would let their children play Grand Theft Auto just for the sake of either making them shut up and leave them alone, or just because they want their children to have all the freedom in the world. They can do literally whatever they want. That's how these parents, that's how some of these parents are, just for the sake of, oh yeah, I want to have I want to be my child's best friend and stuff like that. Like you're gonna let your child do whatever. You're not gonna be a parent to them. You want to be their friend instead, and let them fuck up their lives for them to learn on their own, rather than doing your job as a parent to actually teach them, as we read in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6. Okay, it's your job. Oh, I'm not a parent, but it's our job as I'll just say it's our job as parents to train up a child in the proper way. Okay, it's not anyone else's job. It's not it's the teacher's job. The teacher's the parent, so the teacher to do it. And then even then, a lot of these teachers, they don't even want to they don't even want to teach anymore because you have so many kids. I think what was it? I think it was either 32 or 37% of students are actually in America, I think specifically, are actually at their grade levels or actually graduate with in terms of their academic achievement. Like the rest of the 63 or 68%, they're not. They're just sent off after school. So even the after the parents that don't care about them, the teachers, they're not even caring about the kids anymore. Okay, nobody cares about the kids. Like it is like the worst time to be a child or to have children, because these children are just dumb. Like they don't have proper guidance, and I kind of feel sorry for them, but at the same time I don't care. That's how the Lord made it out to be. All right. There was something that she said. I wanted to hear her talk about it.
Player was to stomach acid. Again, things I would have preferred not to think about when I was 12 years old. As an adult, I'd still prefer not to think about it, but I was glad to find other people who had played or attempted to play this game and are just as haunted by it today as I am. It was comforting to know that I was not alone in how quickly I put the game down or how long it has stayed with me. But I also wish none of us had had that shared experience. Please think of the children has historically been used to excuse all sorts of weird overreach with media classifications, but in this case, I really wish us naive kids had been steered away from seeing some of that stuff until we were a bit older.
Exactly. And again, like, I literally can't go against what she's saying, because she is absolutely right. You don't need to put kids or let kids see this type of stuff, or let kids be exposed to this terrible, media thing. And people always have to say, oh, let's think of the children, oh, let's do it for the kids, this, that, and the third. But are you actually doing for the kids if you aren't even spending time to make sure that these games, these medias, these whatever, are being properly rated for the kids to be able to assess things properly, and to not be either traumatized or be misled or mistaught in a way contrary to what is conducive to a proper human being. All right. Next, Proverbs chapter 29 verse 17, correct thy son and he shall give thee rest, yea, he shall give the light unto thy soul. This is a very important one, because if you as a parent are correcting your child, then of course, like that's the thing, even with me, okay, when I was younger, what I did was when there was a good teacher, okay, my mother would tell me, okay, here, let's go give this teacher a present for being a good teacher. And that's what I did. I gave some of my good teachers one good teacher. He was a reward for, or not a reward, I forgot what I gave him, by the way, but I gave him like something that was like what, $20 or something like that, for being a good teacher. And there are kids that actually love their teachers so much that they actually do something like, hey, let me get you something, let me do this, hey, thank you, Mr. whoever you are, for helping me and teaching me and pushing me on the right path and push me to be academic, to do academically well and whatnot. All right, there are teachers like that actually care and want their students to do better. All right, as a matter of fact, well, I didn't give it a reward because I was broke, but when I was a college student, there was even another professor that I had that was so involved, that wanted me to do well, that she said, hey, if you ever need a reference letter, you can email me, and I'll write something out for you. And there are these instructors and teachers and so and whatnot that actually want to help people that are actively willing to learn. But the child has to be willing to learn, and you have to actively give that child some proper discipline to be willing to learn, because children are basically default to stupid, foolish, and stuff like that, as we read in over here in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. So a child is going to be wanting to do foolishness, but that's where you as the adult or the parent comes in, or I guess in the as a teacher as well, where it comes in. And that's the thing. Also, Slakia, I don't even think back then. Well, obviously it's a different thing, so forget back then. Slakia. But the thing is that because of these teachers, they are actually involved and they actually care, because there are some really good teachers out there that get underappreciated. All right, and it's up to these few kids to actually have to recognize that. All right, and a funny thing is, when in my later years in school, I was talking to some of my classmates, and even they said, hey, we drove away that one good teacher, that one good math teacher. He was like the best math teacher. We should have been better to him. And I'll say mostly them. I'm not gonna absolve myself fully, but for the most part, I was never really a problem child. But mostly it was these other children. I won't say I'm a saint, but I was, I guess, a small. If I had to give myself a percentage, I wouldn't go above 5%. But it was primarily these other students collectively that were basically the main reason, I guess. In addition to the fact that he just did not want to work for someone. He didn't want to work for another person. So yeah, basically, he quit teaching at the school that I went to, and I think that what's it called? The thing was that even though while I was going to school, I did kind of I guess give him a present and stuff like that, because I forgot what I gave him. My mom bought it for me to give it to him, because she it was primarily her that really understood the value of how to treat people. I didn't really fully understand and get that until after all these things happen. Again, you have to be a teacher to, or it's like you have to be a teacher, quote unquote, as in a parent or an adult, to actually understand to how to show someone appreciation. When you show someone appreciation, be they a teacher, okay, a teacher or a parent, then you say okay, so what you do is, okay, this person is showing you the right way, they're helping you out, then let's do that positive reinforcement. Thank you for being involved, thank you for helping me out. Here is a present, here's this and third, here's this for because I want you to know that I appreciate you, and I want you to keep on helping me out in that thing. But kids, they don't know that, they don't understand that, and they can't give that thing. But it is up to the parents that when they hear, okay, yeah, this teacher is helping my kid out, he's making my kid break through his laziness. So what I'm going to do, because I'm so involved in my child's life and I understand it and acknowledge that, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this teacher a thing. And that's what happened with me and my mother, where she heard, this is a long time ago, but she heard all the stuff that I was saying, that we were saying about our teacher, and the hidden things, like the stuff that maybe not the school didn't really appreciate, or not necessarily appreciate as in it was bad, but the school didn't really acknowledge and understand how much work that he as a teacher was doing to be helpful, where even the school, they even underappreciate their staff, okay, sometimes. And as a result of that, it's just okay, well, because the teachers being underappreciated by not just the students but also the school, then of course it's why bother, why should I be involved? But then it's because it's those few instances of those children, okay, well, it's worth it, because there are some kids, there are some students that are actually appreciating that, All right, and in that same thing, when you actually it's not, I won't say you, but when a child actually appreciates what their parents does and how their parents protected them and helped them out, then what they're going to do when they get older is they're going to take care of their parents when their parents aren't able to take care of themselves. It's that give and take relationship where you people, Slakia, primarily these people, these irresponsible people that have kids, have abortions and stuff like that, they think, okay, well, this kid is just a burden. I don't want to have kids. I'll never have kids. This and that. Third. You have all these different women that say that, and you know what is so fucking hilarious? Okay, you got these women that are saying, I will never have kids. I want to tie my eggs together. I'm going to tie my whatever. I'm never going to get pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And then when they hit that wall, when they hit 30, 40 years old, they're living alone, they realize, oh my God, I don't have anyone to take care of me. I'm all by myself, or I'm calling my mom to take care of me, to do this and the third and whatever. Like I'm all alone. I really wish I had settled down when I was younger, blah, blah, blah. And that's another aspect of it, where you got these women that are so depressed because they are alone at old ass ages and nobody fucking wants them. All right, yeah, maybe there might be some cougars, sure, but overall the majority of them, they are unwanted and undesired. All right, so it's like this is where this society is heading, because people, they don't understand the true value of children. And it's honestly very not sad, because that's judgment coming on these devils. All right, so let's continue on. Deuteronomy chapter 11 verse 19, and ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them, when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. All right, so we have to be teaching them every step of the way. Every step of the way we have to be guiding them and letting them know, this is what you're supposed to do, this is how you do it, this in this situation, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah. All right, this is the best way. All right, and one of the biggest things, again, which I never really even fully understood it, or never even thought that this was something that people did. You really just have to take some time out of your day to sit your children down and just talk to them. If you have children, just say, hey, let's talk. I want to let you know about these different philosophies and stuff like that, X, Y, and Z. All right. And, funnily enough, now that I'm remembering it, I actually had moments like that in my childhood where I would be sat down and talk, whether I did something wrong or I just needed to know stuff. And funnily enough, even though I had that happen a lot and I was bored out of my mind, I think those lessons still kind of stuck with me. And it's a very, I think that's what really made me so diligent, I guess, in my own way when I was younger. I wouldn't say I was like a stickler or anything like that, but in a way I kind of was, in a way, because there was often times where I still wanted to do stuff that I wanted to do, and I wasn't like, oh, I have to obey the rules 100%, but like I would follow the rules, whether they be at home, whether they be at school and whatnot. But at the same time, I still like, okay, well, I'm gonna do what I want to do at the end of the day, which was, for the most part, playing video games. All right, where that was like my main goal. And this was before I was in the shoot. That was before. Well, I was still I was a Christian at the time, so I wouldn't really. And being a Christian, like, they don't even teach. That's another thing, Slakia. That's another thing. Being a Christian, you barely ever got freaking like proper Christian Bible sit down lessons and stuff like that, where it's like, what the fuck? Like, they barely even tell you to pray. Okay, like they barely even tell you to pray, because I barely pray. Okay, it's only up when I'm in the shoot that I started praying now, stealing the practices of the Muslims, where they say pray 5 times a day. And then I found out, okay, well, the Bible actually does say pray never cease, and keep on praying and stuff like that. And that's where I have a closer relationship with YAHAWAH and His now compared to back then. All right. Outside of the fact that I'm actually reading the Bible. So let me also get this. Ecclesiasticus chapter 39 verse 25, another important scripture. Ecclesiasticus chapter 36 verse 25, where no hedge is, there is the possession spoiled, and he that hath no wife will wander up and down mourning. And this is where you have what's it called? Children, okay? Because children are a possession, all right, and children can be a spoil, because you have people sometimes sometimes, be they girls and boys. It's because the thing is, I think people teach their child to be a certain way. They teach children back then in terms of like, okay, well, I want this kid to do this, I want this kid to do that, so I'm going to teach him how to, or the proper way that I want him to think. And you could teach, which is what Esau did. They taught Jake to be perfect slaves, not to think, and to think only how they want us to think. And that's what ruined us. But at the same time, that's where our possession, or our children, okay, in this context, is being spoiled. All right. The same thing applies also to women, but we're not talking about women, we're talking about children right now. So with children, as they are spoiled and being ruined, you have these children that are following after the philosophies that are contrary to what you believe. And that was a big thing with college, where you have these adults. It's like you have these conservative parents that have their children go to college, and then they become unrecognizable. They have blue freaking hair and stuff like that, especially their girls and stuff like that, where their kids are not what they thought. They're tainted. They freaking are corrupted and stuff like that. It's like it's a terrible sight to see. All right, you don't want to see that type of stuff happening to your kid, where they just become unrecognizable. Which it's, I don't know. I think I kind of feel like I don't know. I can't really give an opinion on it, but Yahawadah, I will never have to deal with that, and we will just be in the kingdom by the time. Because let's just say if I have whatever, I'm not going to talk about that anyway. Yeah. So hedge, possession, children spoiled. So this is where it's not just college, but it's also teachers. You can't be letting these consider, if you're a Christian teacher, you're letting your freaking atheist, if you're a Christian parent, all right, if you're a God-fearing parent or Yahweh-fearing parent, all right, you're letting your child go to an atheist school, for example, which I don't know why you would do that, but or just a public school. Let's just say public school, and your atheist teacher is trying to instill atheism onto your child. Then it's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, I don't want you to teach them that. Just stick to the same thing, or you tell your kids, hey, just agree with them. Don't actually listen to what they're saying. Keep on following after YAHAWASHI, or keep on following after God, whatever. Okay, depending on if you're a Christian, which there might be Christians watching this video. Okay, based on the comments I've been getting. Anyway, yeah, you just say, hey, just don't bother, ignore them. Keep on doing what you need to be doing. All right. Now, finally, another good one. John 8 verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your fathers you will do. He was murdered from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there was no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And the main thing here is, ye are of your father the devil, and you have these different adults that basically reprise or take the role, replace the role of parent in your child's life. And some of that could be a teacher. So let's say if there's a good teacher, a teacher that is more of a parent to your child than you, for example, okay, and that's when that child's going to have a stronger relationship and want to follow after the person whom they have more respect for, they have more appreciation for. And that is a very big thing to be on the lookout for. All right. So that's why, you know, you don't want to just let any random person willy-nilly teach your child. All right. So as a result of that, you know, again, which also goes back into Slakia, when there's a child that has appreciation for what said parent or said adult does to look out for them, and that's when they are trying to repay them back. So with that, praise the most edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, but YAHAWAH, double honors to the elders and apostles, and a great meal on a bottle of ball, and Shalom.